Welcome back to the Wellness Wire, the only place you're going to get the truth about what's really going on inside that incredible body of yours. I'm your host, Dr. Ray, and this is the show where we decode the latest science, not for the drug companies, but for you. We're here to tap into the one thing that truly runs this show, your body's phenomenal innate intelligence. Forget what you've been told. Your body isn't broken. It's not a faulty machine waiting for a chemical fix. It's a genius supercomputer, constantly adapting and communicating. So today, we're pulling back the curtain on 4 new pieces of research that prove this. This is pure fire, so we're going to get right into it. This is we've taken the research from the last week, and we sort of tie it all together. So, you know, the mainstream view is that a symptom is always a problem. You know, high blood pressure, you got to suppress it. High cholesterol, got to force it down. But that's like seeing the check engine light on in your car and then just putting a piece of black tape over it. See, my whole philosophy, the foundation of food pharmacy and wellness technologies.ai is built on a totally different perspective. That a symptom isn't the problem, at least not all the time. It's the signal. It's your body intelligently adapting to a challenge. You know, and the Helsinki businessmen study really proved this decades ago when they medicated executives to force their blood pressure into what they said was the normal range. And what happened was the death rate went up. Why? Because the high blood pressure was often a necessary adaptation. And the drugs sort of handcuff the body's ability to save itself. In other words, it's the same thing with your heart rate. It's going to be different when you're running, for instance, than if you're standing still. Well, what happened is when the blood vessels become more rigid, when the kidneys have a challenge, the blood has to, in order to adapt to that, the pressure has to increase. When you suppress it, you're going against what the body's trying to do. So when we look at the new science, I'm not asking what drug can we make from this or what is the body, I'm saying, you know, what is the body telling us and how can we work with it? And that's an interesting thing because almost all these research studies are done for one thing, to try to come up with a new drug. That's really what it is. So when I look at these, I look at them from a totally different perspective. So let's take a look at the first research for this week. The Gut-Brain HOTLINE. So scientists uncovered a hidden gut, sort of a sensor that talks to your brain. This was out of Duke University School of Medicine. And it really is a mind-blowing discovery that they did here at Duke. Then what the scientists discovered was they uncovered what they're calling a neurobiotic sense. And this is the secret sort of handshake between your gut and your brain that we've always known existed, but now we have all these receipts. So deep in your colon, you have these tiny sensor cells called neuropods. And what they do is they act like a frontline intelligence agent. So when there's certain bacteria in your gut, they release a protein called flagellin. And basically, they're little swimming tails, and that's really what that means. These neuropods instantly detect it. So they don't wait for an immune response. They pick up a basically like a direct hotline from the vagus nerve and send the message straight to your brain that says, hey, we're full, it's time to stop eating. Now, think about how elegant that is, first of all. So the bacteria in your gut are literally telling your brain when you've had enough. And they're doing it in real time. I mean, it's the perfect instantaneous feedback loop that's designed by nature. And what's the mainstream solution to appetite control right now? These GLP-1 agonists. I mean, and you know, I call it the needle nightmare because of all the challenges it causes, all the side effects. They're not just side effects. They are nasty. Do you know 70% of the people that start these don't even make it through? They don't do it because of the side effects. You know, these drugs hijack this system with, you know, basically a chemical sledgehammer. And the side effects are so brutal that, like I said, 70% of the people stopped taking them within a year because of constant nausea, because of vomiting, because of all kinds of challenges. So why suffer through that when your body already has a smarter built-in system? And this new research isn't just about appetite, it's a blueprint for how microbes influence our mood, influence our behavior, and really our mental health. So the secret isn't new drugs, it's learning to listen to the messages that your gut is already sending and using the right foods to influence that microbiome. So it's exactly the things that I've been talking about. Let's take a look at the next one. And I picked ones that are sort of, we're going to time all together. And that's that we go from the gut's intelligence, and now we're going to talk about the body's metabolic genius. Because for years, we've been told that weight loss is just brutal, grinding calorie math. And if you know, I've been saying it's not the calories. But new research from Pennington Biomedical shows it's so much more sophisticated than that. Here's what they found. They found that there's this metabolic switch. And the key to this, the key, again, another is an amino acid called cysteine. So in this landmark study, what they found was that when people restricted their calories, their level of cysteine dropped. And here's where the magic happens. Lowering cysteine acts as a signal that sort of flips your fat cells from lazy storage units, and when we call lazy storage units, that's the white fat, into the active energy burning furnaces, which is the brown fat. And so when they tested this in animal models and they restricted cysteine, the results were absolutely stunning. There was dramatic weight loss and a massive increase in fat burning. So your body has a built-in mechanism to turn up its own thermostat and then torch the fat when it senses a change in its environment. So it doesn't just sit there and suffer, it adapts, it optimizes, it gets more efficient. The body is amazing. See, that's what I talk about. That's the innate intelligence. It's inborn intelligence in our body. So it's not about starving yourself. It's about sending the right signals that are going to activate these powerful, pre-programmed metabolic pathways. And then we get to the next study, and this was pretty cool. It was sort of the French fry verdict, because if your bodies are this smart, they have this gut-brain hotline, they have this fat-burning furnaces. Why are we facing epidemics of chronic diseases, obesity, and all these other things? And it's simple. We're feeding this supercomputer of ours garbage data. And the American Heart Association, they dropped a science advisory on ultra-processed foods, and it's UPFs, ultra-processed foods. And it confirmed that the things that I've been talking about for years, these aren't really foods. They are industrialized products that are, we'll say they're edible substances, but they're barely edible, packed with sugar, unhealthy fats, tons of commercial salt, and it's just a cocktail of additives. They're designed to hijack your brain and keep you just coming back for more. And I talked about there's a company, Genomics, a bioengineering company that tries to, you send your food and they would tell you what you can combine in that food to trigger different portions of your brain and make you want to eat more, to make you enjoy it. The idea is they want you to consume more. And that's where these ultra-processed foods is directly linked to a higher risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, obesity, and death. We talked about, Fritz Albert Popp said that the body's only designed to take in foods that were once living, that had DNA. That's animals and plants, not these ultra-processed foods. And if you want to see even this in action, and I'll take it and it's not even to the point of ultra-processed foods, but what they did was they put the potato on trial, basically. So there's a study in the British Medical Journal, looked at potatoes, and they looked at diabetes risk. And here's what they found, that if you eat boiled potatoes, baked potatoes, mashed potatoes, 3 times a week, no basic impact on diabetes risk. So there's no significant impact, but eating French fries 3 times a week, that was linked to a 20% increased risk of developing type 2 diabetes. And so what it turns out, it was never the potato's fault. It was the industrial seed oils, the high heat frying, that turned this natural food into basically what we call a metabolic time bomb. So when you swap those fries for whole grains, the risk just plummets. And see, it's not complicated. Your body knows how to handle a potato. It doesn't know how to handle a food-like product, a food that is a food by man. It doesn't know how to handle a product that's been chemically and mechanically abused. And that's what it is. They're abused. So here's the takeaway from the Wellness Wire this week. 1, your body has a secret communication network between your gut and your brain that regulates you perfectly if you let it. Okay? Secondly, you have a hidden metabolic switch that can turn your fat into a calorie-burning furnace when you talk about whether it be from white fat to brown fat. And 3, the greatest threat to this brilliant system isn't your genetics. It's the constant flood of garbage signals from ultra-processed foods that are jamming the lines of communication. See, your body isn't failing you. It's fighting for you. It's sending you signals every single day. That check engine light isn't a malfunction. It's a message. So the secret, the real hack, is to stop trying to outsmart your body and instead start listening to it. Trust that innate intelligence within it. Fuel it with real food, and then just get the heck out of its way. That's your edge. That's the revolution. I'm Dr. Ray. This has been the Wellness Wire. Until next week, stay sharp, question everything, trust your intelligence, make sure you hit that subscribe, smash that like button. Boom! We are unleashing a health revolution.